Okay, here we go. We are live.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Trigger Points. I'm Rob Trigg. My guest today, my good friend Ehab, Rehab with Ehab. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. Love hanging out with my boy Rob Trigg with Jet Lending. So this is a good Friday morning.
So a lot of people don't know we've got a pretty good friendship that we've had over the years. Ehab is one of my first clients that ever do a loan with here at Jet Lending, and kind of when he initially started out, you had a daytime job, didn't you?
Yeah. I had a kind of full-time job as an IT consultant, and I was traveling. I was trying to figure out this real estate business, this game here. What was the right strategy? So yeah, I mean, I was hustling, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and then I was brand new, and why he worked with me, I have no idea, because this guy knew everything about real estate, and I knew like that much. And he's like, he was just like, you know what, I'm going to work with this guy, and I appreciate that. But now we've become pretty good friends. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you're giving me too much credit because I didn't know everything about real estate when I got started. I had to,
well, you know a lot more than I did.
Yeah.
Now, and Johnny's like, hey, this guy, work with him. I'm like, okay. He's like, y'all seem like y'all get along. I was like, okay. So he handed me the lead. I called it. He's like, hey, I got this deal. And I was like, okay, I can deal with this guy. He's very mild temper, and I'm not. So maybe a little yin and yang here.
Yep.
Might work out. So Ehab, tell me a little bit about your journey as far as in real estate investment. So you started out in IT. I think you said you did your first loan with Jet Lending, like in 2006?
Yeah, it was early 2000. I got excited about real estate investing watching those get rich quick infomercials, which used to come on TV back in the day.
Those awful commercials.
Yeah, they were terrible, right? But who doesn't want to have a yacht and a private plane and take vacations all the time? But that's how I got interested in my early 20s, and did my first flip when I was 27. So yeah, that's how I got in.
Speaking of on vacation, Ehab and I, we went to Bermuda today.
That's right. We're on the beach.
We're on the beach. We've got a bartender bringing us some margaritas here in a little bit. So after you got into this, what made you keep going? The hunger. What made you want to just say, hey, I need to keep doing this?
Yeah, well, I'm by nature a competitive person. Mm-hmm. So every deal that I did felt like it was a win. I was winning in the sport of life, in the sport of real estate investing, and I just wanted to be able to prove to myself, prove to my family that I was able to follow through on this crazy dream that I had back then. So that's what kept me going.
Cool. Well, I'll tell you a little bit, and I've told you this story.
Yeah.
So Johnny Hayes, he's one of the owners here at Jet Lending. I came down here. I used to visit him. He's my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister. Been married for 26 years. And I was in the process of kind of doing that transition for the military. And I said, hey, this is what my plan is. I was going to be a state trooper. And Johnny does not like cops for some reason. I don't know why he doesn't like cops, but he didn't like them. Anyways, long story short, don't do that crap. Why don't you come down here and get started in real estate? It's like, Johnny, I don't know the first freaking thing about real estate other than I bought a house before. It's easy. I'll teach you. Come on down here to Houston. We'll get you started in real estate. And I was like, okay, I'll jump. I'll see what happened. And the most important thing that I will tell you through my real estate journey is don't give up.
Yeah.
Because there are some hard times in real estate. You probably know.
Yeah.
I mean, Ehab, you called me and said, hey, I was let go of my IT job. I'm just gonna get this thing 100%.
Yeah.
And I bet that was scary for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's you've been kind of building up to that moment of buying properties, building a portfolio, hoping one day you can quit your job. But when you actually get let go from your job, it becomes real at that point.
That security's gone, and you're like, oh Lord, what do I do?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, don't give up. And if you need help, this is going to segue into kind of what you do now. Rehab with Ehab. This is a mentorship program, correct?
Yep. Absolutely.
That Ehab started You've been doing this how long?
Middle of last year, actually, in 2020, I started the program.
So during COVID, you're like, hey, I don't have a job. I want to take this real estate thing to the next level. You know, what better time than to start a mentorship program? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Well, it started because, you know, I had a lot of good success with real estate investing, and, you know, friends of mine were asking for help, and, you know, they'd take me to lunch, we'd grab coffee, and I would teach them whatever I could teach them in 30 minutes or an hour of hanging out. And I realized that what I was teaching them was not the complete picture. It wasn't the complete picture. It was just, you know, answering a question that they had or diving into a small part of real estate. But I really wasn't giving them justice by giving them a full, you know, A to Z step-by-step guide to being able to become a successful real estate investor. So that's why I put the program together, because I wanted something comprehensive, complete, and effective.
You know, I will say this about Ehab's program. There's been people that have watched videos, and we'll get into that a little bit more as the show goes on. But there have been people that have seen us talking, or the flybys or stuff like that have actually reached out to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we've had some really good conversations when you came by, checked out my properties, and, you know, they've been actually exceeding my expectations. Yeah. The Airbnb that you came and visited, the duplex I had. Yeah. I mean, I think this month alone is making almost $15,000 for just one property. So when
I'm super jealous.
I know.
I'm super jealous.
I mean, when I tell people just get in the game, and you don't need a ton of properties to really make it. It just needs a couple, 2, 3, 4, like strategically well bought properties, and it can get you to the income that you need.
I know. So think about that, guys. One property produced $15,000 of income into his back pocket, right? Yeah. Is that gross or net?
That's gross.
Okay. That's so gross. What did you net after bills paid?
All bills paid, I walked away about $8,000.
$8,000. Okay. So let's just say you got a loan on that property. I mean, you probably do.
I do. Yeah.
30-year amortized.
It's a 20-year loan.
20-year loan.
Yeah.
At $7,000, you could pay that thing off in what, a year? If you wanted to.
Yeah, I only owe like $340 on the property, so my mortgage payment's like $3,000, and then when you factor in, since it's an Airbnb, you know, you got to pay for the utilities, the maintenance on it, the cleaners, your housekeeper. So after you factor in those costs, and you're still walking away with a great profit.
Yeah, but and I'm kind of getting a segue into something. So let's just say, for instance, you wanted to totally get that thing paid off in a year. You could probably do that with that type of income coming in every month, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could fast track it and pay it off in a couple of years, and that whole $15,000 would be going all in my pocket.
Yeah, $15,000. Think about that. Sitting on the beach.
Yeah.
At how old are you?
45.
45. Yeah. And you pay it off in a year.
Yeah.
Now, I want the average investor, not the supers investors out there. I want the average investor to think about this for a second. You buy one property, you pay it off in a year because it's producing, you know, $15,000 to $16,000. Yep. You pay it off in 1 year. There's most people in America that don't make $15,000 a month.
Yeah, I know.
That's one property. You can be, and you could go sit on the beach for the rest of your life and never do a damn thing off one property.
But I didn't even tell you the best part. The best part is because I follow a strategy where I buy it with hard money, using my boy Rob here with Jet Lending. Buy with hard money.
Y'all listen to this.
Fix it up, borrow all the money from Jet to do the purchase and the rehab, and then I go and do a cash out refinance with another bank that I work with. I'm making that money with no money out of pocket in the deal. That's the crazy part.
So zero out of pocket, making $15,000 a month. We did the loan with Jet Lending, refinanced for 30 years, and still pulling in $15,000 and netting about $8,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I know people that are in the military that would love that type of retirement strategy.
Yeah.
They get out and have a bunch of retirement goals, and they're like, man, what do I do with all this money? And I'm trying to branch into that, to like, hey, you got to get into real estate. This is why. And this is a perfect success story. So guys, listen, if you're watching this or at any point in time during the show and you've got any questions for us, please leave a comment so that we can answer any questions that you got. We're going to be in here till about 11:15. So any questions you got, we'll be happy to answer for them. But I gotta talk about this mentorship program a little bit more. So let me ask you some questions. How many mentees have you gotten in a year so far?
Oh, 30.
30,
Yeah.
30 mentees.
Yeah.
How many of them are either A, done a deal, or are working on their first deal?
Wow, that's a good question. I got to go back and think about that. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are hustling, doing deals. I don't even know about all the deals that they're doing because they're hitting the ground running and doing them on their own. So, I mean, a good portion of the students are out there doing their first deal. A couple of my students have already done 3 deals or 4 deals.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I want to talk about one that we both know about. We did an interview with him last week, Alberto.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that deal.
Yeah.
Okay. First deal. I'll let you talk about it because we did the loan with it, but I know he's super proud of him, and I am too because this guy he hit a home run on his first deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's Alberto I'm proud of, Heather, Sarah. There's a lot of my students that are just crushing it. But yeah, Alberto was this guy that had, like a lot of people, had been reading books about real estate investing and watching YouTube podcasts. And the good thing about those things is they give you information, but what they're lacking is instruction. And a lot of people don't understand the difference between YouTube and reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Is those things just give you information, but what people really need to take action on is instruction. And that's what you get when you hire a mentor, is instruction, step by step. Do this first, do this next. When you talk to the realtors or when you talk to the sellers, talk to them in this way. So that's really the step-by-step stuff you get when you've got a good mentor. So Alberto had some good information, but when he joined my program, he got the instruction that he needed. And one of the pieces of information I gave him when this wholesale deal came across his email was, I told him, contact the wholesaler. What was happening was they were about to do an open house on Saturday, and Alberto called me on a Friday and said, "Ehab, this looks like a great deal. Here are the numbers. What should I do?" I said, well, don't wait till Saturday when the open house happens, and you've got to
get on it right now.
Call the wholesaler now and tell him you want to buy this deal today.
Yeah.
And he's like, I said, the price is right. You can give him a full price offer because the wholesaler was asking for a fair price. And Alberto got off the phone. He called him up, and the guy said, "Yeah, I'll take your offer." So he canceled the open house on Saturday, and Alberto had his first deal, a house out in Galveston, which is close to where he lives, and was able to make a great profit on that flip.
Yeah, he made a killing on that flip.
Yeah.
And if y'all want to know more about that actual testimonial that we're talking about, because we don't want to give away numbers, clients may be a little bit uncomfortable with that, but you can go watch the YouTube. He said it himself, but he made a killing off his first deal. And he did the loan with Jet Lending, got it rehab, got it sold, and I mean, heck, he made more than some people make in a year off one deal.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal, right? Like, find a property, rehab it, and make money. I mean, that's what you want to do.
That one deal to me just seems like, wow, he hit it out of the park. And then he's done another deal with us as well. Yeah. But he's keeping that one long term. He's Airbnb that one, right?
No, that's just going to be a regular rental.
Regular rental.
So yeah, what I tell my students is, it's okay to go flip a house if you want to put some money in your bank account. But at the end of the day, the key to building wealth, the key to being able to quit your job and creating passive income is owning property. You got to own property. And so, as much as it's exciting, it's exhilarating to get that big payday on a flip, in the long run, it's going to help you accomplish your goal better by owning property and getting that consistent passive income.
Mailbox money.
Yeah. So that second deal, he kept it. And now the third deal that he's got right now, he's changed his mind. He was going to flip it. Now he's going to keep it. So he's doing the right things.
Yeah, he is. And that's one of his students. It's a success story. And I have to say this, Alberto was working with another loan officer. And then I kind of picked up the tail end of the loan officer, had some life goals he wanted to go and achieve, which is great. We support that. So he left us at Jet Lending, and I picked up Alberto, and me and Alberto kind of had a little rocky start because I'm a little kind of cocky sometimes.
Yeah.
I
haven't noticed.
No. Sometimes I come off a little, I don't know, cocky. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
So I had that first conversation with him. And I'm like, hey, yeah, blah, blah. He's like, hey, Rob, slow down. I don't know who you are. He's like, and I don't care, but we need to start from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I can respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect that. And we started off. Now we got a great relationship. You know, we talk. I'd bend over backwards for him. He's a great client and does a lot of great things. And he's been well taught. Heather's another good one. Rock star.
Yeah.
She's been very patient. Killed her in first deal with you. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Heather is another one. She'll tell you, she's an open book. She studied real estate investing for 2 years before joining my program. Read books, analyzed deals. I mean, YouTube, all the things that, you know, people think they should do to learn about real estate investing. But again, what Heather really needed was somebody to hold her hand and say, this is a good deal. I'm here for you. If you got problems or questions, we're gonna figure it out together. Yeah. And you know, YouTube or a book won't do that for you, you know? Yeah. So she joined my mentorship program. It was funny because when I first talked to her, she said, you know, I think I know it all already. I don't think I need a mentor. And now,
I'll be honest with you. A lot of people think they know everything. It's the execution they need help.
Yeah.
With. A little bit of the execution.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I will be biased and say there's a lot of people out there that call me. You know, I get 20, 30, 40 phone calls a day. A lot of people that know what they're doing, and you know, after conversation with them, I'll say, hey, look, it sounds like to me that you need somebody to point you in the right direction. Are you open to an idea of talking with somebody about mentorship? And they'll say yes or no. And if they say yes, I send them directly to you.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I know that eventually they will close the deal.
Yeah.
And if they close the deal, hopefully they're going to come back to me because I'll send them to Ehab and say, hey, you know, let's have a working relationship here to ensure that, you know, they're learning, they're buying. Because we always say here at Jet Lending, one or two things have got to happen. You're either going to get in a closing seat and be happy, or two, you're going to wash out completely within the first year. The washout scenario does not work for me, and I know it doesn't work for Ehab.
Yeah.
We want more investors. Everybody wants more investors out there because if you're profitable, everybody's profitable.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's about not making those critical mistakes that take you out of the game, you know. And I think that's why you need to make sure you've really gotten educated on the right way to invest. You understand the important numbers that are in the game, which for me, those important numbers are ARV, after repaired value, your rehab estimate, and your purchase price, right? I mean, those are the three most important numbers whenever you're looking at a deal. And then, of course, if you're looking at it as a long-term hold, then you got to know your rental comps or your Airbnb nightly rates. You got to know those numbers to make sure it's going to cash flow. So if you're not familiar with those things, make sure you learn that stuff well. But that's the basics of real estate investing.
Let me ask you one quick question. What do you think out of those three numbers, purchase price, repair amount, or an ARV, what's the most important number out of all three of those?
Wow, I mean, I think they go hand in hand. I think the thing that people struggle with, I know people are really intimidated with repairs. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to a rehab estimate, a lot of my students they're really kind of nervous about that, and they want help making sure they really understand what needs to be rehabbed in the property, number one, and then how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
But you know, after repaired value too, I mean, it's something that's important. You got to understand comps. You got to put your appraiser hat on and be able to figure out you know, what's happening in the area. And not only that, you have to also be able to know what added value can you do to the property to get it to that higher ARV. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's adding square footage on, maybe it's adding a couple of extra garage apartments onto the back of the building like my student Heather is doing. But there are things that you can do outside of the box to really drive up that after repair value, which will turn something that doesn't look like a good deal into an amazing deal.
I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit on this.
Okay, all right.
I think the most important thing in a transaction is purchase price.
Okay.
Because the only thing that you really have control over and this is my opinion,
sure,
in the real estate transaction is the purchase price. Let me say why. The most important is purchase price. If you buy right, hey, somebody agree with me right there. The most important thing is purchase price.
All right.
Hey,
all
look,
right.
I don't make this up for a reason.
There
all right.
you go.
And let's talk about that for a minute, and maybe you'll see my point of view. One, rehab cost. You can go in there and estimate the rehab cost to a T. You open up a wall, got termite damage. Didn't even know it. Now you got added expenses. So you can't control that.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's see another thing. What else? Oh, let's see the market. Market could go up or down, so your ARV could go up or down, right?
Yep.
That way, hey, right now, 6 months from now, you're going to have the rehab. Right now, the market's hot.
Yeah.
You can sell that house, let's say 420, 435, somewhere in that area. But at the end of the day, the market tanks. Now we're in a recession and nobody's buying properties. Now you can't give it away, or something else might happen. The area might flood. Now your value decreases a little bit. Or hey, even if it floods, now you got to go back in there and added rehab costs. So on a transaction, typically the only thing you can control is how much you buy that property for.
Yeah.
And the lower you buy that property, or the more, 60, 55% of ARV, that way that you have a nice spread in that rehab cost. That is the only way that you honestly are going to make sure that you got a great deal. Would you agree with that or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, the purchase price obviously is, what they say in real estate, you make your money when you buy, right?
Make your money when you buy.
So you got to make sure you're buying it at the right price.
But Ehab's also right. All three things really matter.
They work together.
It's good. They do work together, because you have to figure out what your ARV is at the time. And typically markets are stable for 6 months to a year. I mean, they don't fluctuate unless it's 2020.
Yeah, or 2021.
Or 2020.
I'll tell you a story. I've got 2 flips going on right now, and I'm not a guy that likes to flip, because I like to buy and hold and build wealth and cash flow. But I got 2 flips. One of them we started 6 months ago. We bought it for $178, this house, and the ARV at the time was $425. Well, we just wrapped up the flip, and we're probably going to put on the market somewhere around $530. So I mean, that in 6 months, our ARV, our sale price is going up $100,000.
Yeah.
The other one I've got, which is over in the Edo area, we thought maybe we get 485 for it, or 500, 600. Yeah.
Well, I mean, then that's just the market we're in right now.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as that thing, I guarantee you probably got offers on that property already.
I have people coming by already and looking at it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I mean, the inventory right now is in the 10,000s. That's insane. So look, I know Eddie always talks. Eddie Gant, one of the other owners of Jet Lane, he always talks about inventory and especially last year. He's baffled by it. Y'all got to understand, 10,000, and I think we checked the 10,265 active, somewhere around that. Maybe somebody could check the total actives right now and give them to us. But y'all have to understand, that's all of Har. That's not just Houston. That's Spring, the Woodlands, Conroe, Galveston, all the little surrounding areas, Pearland, everything other than Houston that's in the HARS spectrum. It's not just the city of Houston is only 10,000. That's everywhere. That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole southern part of Texas.
Yeah, you gotta get creative. You gotta be out there hustling every day if you want to find deals, driving for dollars, looking at other opportunities there, maybe delinquent taxes or code violations, other things that are out there to try to find the deals.
I'll say this: flipping right now is probably one of your most profitable things, other than what your strategy is, as far as, because you could buy it, and we say, hey, look, based on the data, and look, you got to understand, when lenders lend, they lend off the data. They lend off the data that they have right there in front of you, and what the property will appraise and sell for. And there's things that we look at that most most other lenders don't. Hey, does it back up to commercial? B, has it ever flooded? Is it on a busy street? There's other things that we take into account that most other lenders, they'll just put your paperwork they'll put your numbers on a piece of paper and say, okay, hey, here's what the loan's going to look like. And then you order an appraisal, you get the appraisal back, and oh, well, by the way, now we got to change the numbers.
Yeah.
We do an upfront analysis to let you know, hey, this is the difference between A, where we think it's going to come in, and B, this is what the data is telling us.
Yeah.
You've experienced that firsthand, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you gotta stay on top of the numbers. You gotta check where the market's going, and flipping is a great opportunity right now. But I was talking to one of my students the other day, and I said every property you own and you hold is like a little piece of gold.
Oh yes.
So I mean,
both strategies are great. I'm leaning more towards the buy and hold because I can get 2 loans out of them.
Yeah.
With non-QM loans, I know you haven't experienced this yet because you've got your own thing, but
yeah,
the non-QM market is crazy great right now. I've got guys that look, rental properties, I'm not even going to do a flip. It's already got a renter in it. I just literally want to do a 30-year loan. And they're like, okay. I'm like, okay, let's do it. I mean, it's a low doc, very easy. They don't go in your tax returns. They don't do anything. I'm trying to get you to get onto this, but I know you got your own little deal.
Yeah, I got, I try to stay loyal to my guys. I stay loyal to you, stay loyal to my bank that gives me my long-term loans, but they take care of me, and building relationships is important.
That's the next thing I wanted to talk about is building relationships.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand in this business, it's not always about just your loan officer and loan officer and client, relationship. You've got to nurse these relationships, and you got to treat them like family. And you mentored me a little bit on that as well through the years.
Yeah, I mean, people ask me how I've been able to buy deals from realtors and wholesalers, and it comes down to I spend time building relationships with realtors. The majority of my deals, practically all of my deals, have come from MLS, which I know people say you can't find good deals on MLS, or MLS is too hard to use to find deals, but practically every one of my deals have come from realtors and from MLS because I take the time to go to lunch, coffee, build relationships. They know who I am. I never just, guys, this is a tip I'll give you. I never just email an offer to a realtor.
Yeah.
I always call them up, and it's a conversation. I talk about, hey, it looks like you guys are asking $250 for the property, but I'm at $220. I mean, the reason why I'm at $220 is because I walked the property. These are the repairs that I saw, and based on the after repaired value, this is where my numbers are coming in at. If I were just to email an offer of $220 over without having a conversation, that realtor is just going to throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
So take the time to build relationships and talk to sellers, talk to realtors, so they understand where you're coming from. Talk to people as people. Yeah.
Talk to people as people.
Yeah.
Just there's one thing you taught me, and I know me as a person, I get, and not bragging, by no means am I bragging, I get about 40 phone calls a day.
Yeah.
So literally, some of these phone calls can be very frustrating. I mean, extremely frustrating, because some people are angry, some people are upset because they've had to deal with other lenders. I will tell you, by the end of the day, I am not the guy you want to talk to on the phone, because I've had so many. I'm more of an in-person one-on-one, build that relationship. Once you get to know me as a one-on-one, it's a lot different than the conversation you're going to have with me over the phone. Because if you get 40, 50 phone calls a day, would you be a guy that really wanted to talk on the phone?
Well, I mean, the tough part for you is, I mean, you're getting 40 or 50 calls a day, and let's be honest, some of those people are just tire kickers.
Yeah.
Or they've never even done a deal before. So, I know from working with you, you and I have kind of butt heads a little bit on ARV or on rehab costs, but because you know who I am, and that I'm not a tire kicker, I'm doing deals. We're able to, again, have a conversation, a collaboration
back and forth. Well, what if we do it like this? Or what do we do it like this?
Yeah.
Maybe I can structure this or that. And that's what we're talking about as far as building relationships. You got to look, and I know COVID has been very hard with building relationships over the past year. Nobody wants to get one-on-one with anybody.
Yeah.
Hey, we're coming to an end of that. Look, guys, if you ever
should I be moving away from you?
No, I've already had it. Hopefully, I don't get it again.
All right.
But I'm going to tell you this. At the end of all this COVID thing, once it gets in, you got to get in front of people. That's why we went back with the super investor meeting, and everybody's like, "Man, you're so much different in person." I'm like, "Well, you got to understand that, once you get 40, 50 phone calls, and hey, look, I love all the calls that come in. Don't get me wrong. I want to help everybody I can, but sometimes, you're just like, oh, the phone. I was telling somebody, it's almost like being kind of like a celebrity. You have to feel like, you have to understand what a celebrity feels like after, hey, let me get your autograph. Yeah. Everybody's just trying to take a little piece of you. And you're just like, okay, let's just slow down a little bit. Let me unwind a little bit. And then, hey, you get a couple of drinks in me though. I'm pretty cool.
There you go.
Pretty cool to hang out with, I think.
Well, speaking of the super investor meeting, I want to keep dropping tips here and things for folks. I mean, when they talk about your network determines your net worth.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about that is you never know where you're going to find that connection that's going to get you a deal, or that's going to get you a lender, or that's going to get you a realtor, or the connection to be able to to keep growing and building your business. And so, like, I was at your super investor meeting, and I met a guy that had a
great turnout.
Great turnout. Had a multifamily property that he was looking to sell. Just by talking. Actually, I ran into him on my way out. So I got his info. So we're going to connect. Possibly a deal there for me to buy my next multifamily property. And, I mean, who knows?
I will tell you this, over the years at the super investor meeting, I've seen, back when it was at the Republic Country Club out in Stafford, I've seen people go get contracts out of their car, write them right there on the picnic tables, and they'll sign them right there.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is a great way to sell. Hey, I'm here to sell property. Bring flyers.
Yeah.
I'm selling properties.
That's right.
Hey, we're thinking about maybe bringing back the property desk, where we have a table just set up, and you can put your properties on it, and people, you just bring your flyers, put it on there, and boom, hey, maybe you sell a property right then and there.
Yeah. That'd be a good.
You're thinking about becoming a vendor, right?
Yeah. I mean, my goal with my mentorship program is to really help people, achieve their dream. Like a lot of mentors, teachers, you get satisfaction seeing your students become successful.
Yeah.
And that is really the most rewarding part to this. Seeing Heather, really get excited about her first deal, which is a 5-plex that's going to generate over $10,000, $11,000 a month on Airbnb.
It's crazy.
The thing about it, what's so exciting is that, I talked to Heather, it's, this is part of her retirement plan.
Yeah.
I am helping a family be able to retire. Mm-hmm. And that to me, I mean, when I think about living life, especially, I hopefully got a few good years ahead of me, like living life.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Living life is about being able to, do things on your terms, like you go take a vacation, not have to ask a boss for permission, spend time with your family. I mean, because it's always blown my mind how much time we spend at our jobs.
Oh yeah.
And even at jobs that we don't even love for most people.
Well, I have to say, I spend a lot of time at my job, but I do love.
There you go.
Love and I want to segue back to what you were saying. It's the reward that's more satisfying. It's I work a lot of long hours. Mm-hmm. I mean, my wife gets frustrated, but when she sees these testimonials that we do with these clients, mm-hmm. she's like, wow, you really helped that person. I'm like, baby, that's what pumps me up inside, because who else can I help become financially independent, and that way they can leave their daytime job that they really hate. I mean,
you're a little bit of a mentor too. I mean, I know you help people, figure out if things are good deals, or you got your own opinion on ARVs and rehab. So you give some guidance too, and as part of your job. So.
Well, we've got our first question from Mark. What is his information for the mentorship program? If you look at the ticker right down there at the bottom, it's got all of his Ehab's contact information.
Yeah.
Give him a call later on today. He'll be more than happy to help you. I'm going to take him to lunch after this if he's willing to go.
That sounds great.
But, guys, we are in the business of helping other people grow their business. I know that I am. There's a guy, I'll just say his name's Chris. He does not want to do a testimonial, but he's thanked me several times. He's got a job that, eventually he can retire from. And it's in a chemical, he sells chemicals. Anyways, I won't go into detail.
Yeah.
But he is so thankful of the fact that we make the process so smooth for him. And he said, Rob, I've gone to other banks to try to get these loans, and it takes them so long to commit to get he's like, and you're just like, hey, let's get it done. Which that's all it's about is getting your deal done as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And I know with your mentorship program, a lot of your clients have been successful. We've just talked about two.
Yeah.
And then, you've got Sarah that's doing that. Kind of outside your mentorship program, but you've kind of helped her with that, right?
Yeah. She's got the thing about what I teach is, you can buy, your rehab can be, a beach house, it can be a lake house, it could be somewhere near the medical center here, which is a really hot spot for being able to rent out properties because of so we have such a great medical center here in Houston, Texas, that people are always coming in town to go to MD Anderson, and they need places for, a few months whenever they're in town. So
yeah, and all of your stuff is in that area.
Yeah, I've really been focused on kind of the Third Ward area, which is around, U of H, because, I just know, it's proximity to the medical center, the museum district, downtown, stadiums. You just know that area is just going to go crazy, and it has gone crazy already.
Who is somebody we hadn't talked about? Kevin Kennard.
Oh, Kevin, yeah, my boy.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, if y'all need a Mercedes, this is the guy to go to as well.
Kevin's Mercedes.
Yeah. Every time he calls me, I'm like, I'm looking for those keys.
Yeah.
I'm looking for those keys. He's like, what keys? I'm like, the one is. I was like, one could just come up missing.
Yeah.
He laughs every time. Kevin's killing it over there in Third Ward too.
Kevin's got
Third Ward as well.
Yeah, he's got an 8-plex that he's just about to launch on as a short-term rental. He just sold a triplex that he has as a short-term rental, made a killing, actually set a record for Third Ward in that area with that sale. He's got properties that he's really doing well, and we work together. We're friends. I help him out when I can. He helps me out. So.
Yeah, and Kevin, I'll tell you, me and Kevin have become pretty good friends too.
Awesome.
He's a great guy. He's very easy to work with.
Yeah,
very easy to work with. And everybody in your program, I think, is easy to work. I don't think he's not in your program. He's just a friend, right? Yeah. So
I want to talk a little bit about my real estate investing strategy.
Okay.
Because
let's go ahead.
I think a lot of people out there, one of the biggest questions they have is how should they invest in real estate?
Yeah.
Because we talk broadly about investing in real estate, but the reality of it is that there's a lot of different ways you can invest in real estate.
Okay.
You can do the short-term rentals, the Airbnbs, which are really hot right now, long-term rentals. You could be a flipper, you could be a wholesaler, which is really popular with a lot of gurus. Mm-hmm. You can own shopping centers, you can do subject to, there's all kinds of different things you can do in real estate investing. So it's a pretty broad term when we talk about it, but the thing I tell people when it comes to real estate investing is you have to pick the strategy that aligns with your goals.
Mm-hmm.
If someone were to come to me and say, Ehab, I've got to make $5,000 in the next month to be able to pay my rent and survive so I'm not homeless, I would say to them, you need to go do a wholesale deal.
Yeah.
Because buying a rental and rehabbing it, that's not going to get you $5,000 in the next month.
And you got to have a little skin in the game for those.
You got to have some skin in the game. Right, exactly. So even if let's say you've got $20,000 in the bank, my advice to you is number one. My number one advice always is you got to get educated.
Yeah.
Right? You got to know what you're doing. So whether you're going to rely on YouTube or a book or you want to join a mentorship program, you've got to know what you're doing first. That's first and foremost. But secondly, you've got to make sure that the strategy that you're doing aligns with your goals. Mm-hmm. And most of the time when people talk to me about their goal is that they say to me, Ehab, I want to be able to quit my job. I want to be able to still have income coming in even though I'm not working anymore. I want to be able to live life to the fullest and go take vacations, but still keep getting paid.
I want that's where
that's what you want to do. That's what a lot of people want to do. And so if those are your goals, then you have to look at things like wholesaling or flipping and ask yourself, is that really going to accomplish my goal? Because things like wholesaling or flipping they're one and done transactions.
They are.
And they're jobs, right? You've got to go find that next deal. You've got to go rehab it, and you've got to sell it and get paid. And then you got to go do that all over again if you want to get paid again, right? There's no continuous passive income coming in from that. Same from wholesaling too. So that's why I teach the strategy that I teach, which is commonly known as the BRRRR strategy: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Right? It's BRRRRR.
There's a lot of
R's in there, right?
It's cold.
Yeah, because that's the strategy that's going to let you find properties, rehab them, and you rehab them right, because you don't want to deal with maintenance as a landlord, because that's a nightmare. And then you rent them and you refinance them so you can get your cash back. And you've got to do a strategy like that lets you get your cash back, because that's what's going to allow you to go buy another property. If you're buying with, let's say, traditional down payments, which for a lot of investment loans is 20% down, then if you're doing that strategy, then you're putting 20% down on a property, and you're tying up your money. And so you have to ask yourself the question: how many 20% down payments do you have in your bank account? Can you buy 10, 15 properties?
Is there anything there that's replenishing it on a monthly basis?
Yeah, because the reality is, if you got a long-term rental, it's probably going to make you a few $100s a month, and that's going to take you a long time to replenish that down payment that you put. You could have put $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 down, and making $300 a month profit on a long-term rental is going to take you a long time to get that back. And even trying to make that 30 or 40,000 you need as a down payment from your job income is going to take you a long time to get that back. Most people, it takes them a couple of years to do that. So the math just doesn't work out. If you're trying to quickly get to a point where you're replacing your monthly job income with real estate income. So you've got to look into the BRRRR strategy. And what's really worked for me is buying, rehabbing, and then putting them as short-term rentals on Airbnb or VRBO. Yeah, that's blowing up. And I do that with multifamily too. So the profits are 10x.
Yeah, because look, you can put somebody in there for $2,000 a month and draw that income, right?
Yeah.
Or $3,000 or $2,500, whatever the rents are. Or you can rent it out at $200 a night, and hell, within the first week you've already made your rent.
Yeah.
So I mean, and there's people that'll pay $3,000, $4,000 because their companies will pay for them to be here.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they're if they're interning somewhere, or if they're at the medical center, or hey, I've got a sick kid. I don't want to stay in it. People don't like hotels anymore.
Well, I mean, the problem is they're expensive, number one, right? And you think about a family of 4 or 5, right? Like that means that they're going to have to get 2 hotel rooms, right? So what does that mean? The kids are going to be in one room, the parents are going to be in another room, and who knows?
Go over there, check on.
Yeah, who knows when you check in if those 2 rooms are going to be next to each other, right? So not only are you getting 2 rooms that, let's say, at $200 a night at a nice hotel, it's $400 a night.
Yeah.
If you compare that to an Airbnb house that you can rent, it could be half the price, and you're all together. And if you're staying in my latest Airbnb, it's got a pool in it.
Yeah.
I mean,
we talked about
you got a kitchen, right? So you can cook. You're not eating out every meal. So it becomes a no-brainer for travelers to start selecting Airbnb over.
How much is that? How much is that one a night if you wanted to stay there?
So this property that's the one you did the flyby on. It's a duplex. Each unit is about $350 a night. Or if people want to rent the whole building, which is another important tip that I tell you, because I create a third listing if people want to rent the entire building, so they can have both units. That one runs up about $1,000 a night.
$1,000 a night
with the pool. Yeah, yeah. But it sleeps 16.
So one unit would be $350. The other, if you want to reuse both of them, it would be $1,000.
Yeah.
So let's say, for instance, you wanted to come down here. You're in Dallas or you're in California, and you wanted to come down here for a football game or whatever.
Yeah.
And you need to entertain 16 people.
Yep.
And you're like, hey, I'm gonna be a big shot. I'm gonna put this on my American Express.
Yeah.
We're gonna go see the Houstons, or we're gonna go see the Rockets, or we're gonna go see the Astros play. and you're gonna, because your team's coming to town.
Yeah.
So bam, you call Ehab or call his Airbnb, and you rent it out for $1,000 a night, and you're only here for 2 nights. Heck, 16 people getting hotel rooms. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
You can't beat that strategy.
They're dropping a lot of money on hotel rooms for sure.
It's 16 people. So let's say it's 4 couples and some kids. And that gets expensive.
Yeah.
Very quick.
That's gonna add up.
I will tell you this. I had a friend of mine. He came and visited me from Canada, and he couldn't go back to Canada, and he's like, man, hotel rooms they're crazy expensive. He's like, we've been staying in this Airbnb and we love it. And I was just like, Airbnb is the strategy that everybody's eventually, I think, going to go to.
Yeah. I'll tell you the other thing too, is anybody who's staying in town for a couple of weeks or, a couple of months, which, like I said, my Airbnbs are close to the medical center. So I get a lot of MD Anderson patients who are coming for treatment, and, that treatment could be 1, 2, 3 months. I mean, if you think about it, if you're going to be staying in a place for 2 months, 3 months, are you going to want to stay in a cramped hotel room, which is basically just a bed, right? And you've got your TV, or would you rather be kind of more spread out in a space that has a living room, a kitchen, you can cook your own meals, you're not having to eat out 3 meals a day? I mean, then again, it becomes a no-brainer. So not only is the short-term rentals cheaper than hotels, but they also offer you more amenities with the living room, the kitchen, the flexibility and more space. So would you rather pay less and get more? Yeah. Right? It's a no-brainer.
I think everybody would like to pay less and get more.
Yeah,
especially with a pool.
Yeah.
Man, nothing more relaxing. Let's just say you are, and I hope anybody that's renting from you, I hope that they're going to MD Anderson, if they're getting cancer treatment, hopefully they get cured. But there's nothing more relaxing than, maybe you had that cancer treatment, it's been a bad day, and you go back and can relax by a pool.
Yeah.
Maybe, just that atmosphere alone will make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's rewarding. I mean, we take care of our clients.
Mm-hmm.
For people that are coming for that treatment, we try to give them a discount to help them out because those medical bills add up. So it's a rewarding business as well. Not just not just in it for making the money.
There's a bunch of people that say that oh, you're just doing real estate for the money. And well, you got to understand, yes, it's very rewarding in that aspect. But when you can, I'm gonna use Heather for instance. She called me the day that she was closing on her duplex. Or the
fiveplex.
The fiveplex. Sorry. And she's like, Rob, I cannot thank you enough. I was like, you don't owe me anything. You don't owe me a thank you or anything. She's like, yes, I do, because without you, I wouldn't have been at Ehab. Without you, I wouldn't have made it. I was like, look, just the fact that you and your husband are about to be on your way to financial freedom is literally the most rewarding thing to me, because when I am on my deathbed. Mm-hmm. Hopefully all y'all are going to come see me. All the people that I've helped and come and say, hey, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Because, 10, 15, 20 years from now, I want to be that guy that you're calling and say, I made it. I'm on the beach. Don't have a job anymore. I'm literally, I have nothing else better to do than just take drinks from the bartender that brings me stuff here. And call you and say thank you. So that's the most rewarding thing.
Yeah.
Is those journeys. I want to talk a little bit about motivation. And hold on, we've got a question here.
Can we let's just stop and remind people real quick too. Like if you wanted to follow me on Instagram, it's Rehab with Ehab. So I'm always posting tips, motivation, which Rob wants to start talking about in a second here. So. Advice, make sure you follow me on Rehab with Ehab on Instagram. That way you can always stay abreast of kind of the latest information.
And I am a real estate veteran on the real estate. I think it's the real estate. I don't do Instagram.
You got it. You got to get on Instagram. Speaking of which, I'm going to check and make sure my live is going on here.
Yeah. Let him. We're going to answer this question. Would you recommend having an Airbnb on the outskirts of Houston? Can I answer this? And then you give it a little
Sure,
answer?
You give it a shot.
I'm going to say it does not matter when you have your Airbnb.
Okay.
Now, you have to have a driving force for people that want to stay there. Being near the stadium, being near MD Anderson or a school or something. But I've had people all over town that have them in rural areas. Just, you got to understand, when big games come or the playoffs or whatever come to Houston,
Yeah.
people just looking for a place to stay.
Yeah.
Hotels get packed quick. And if it's let's say it's in Conroe, and they're coming from, and the playoffs are here, and they're coming from New York, and they can take an Uber downtown to see their team play. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Now, I'm sure Ehab says, well, it matters about location because of the driving force of what the Airbnb is going to bring. Now, Airbnb up in Conroe is not going to bring the same amount of value that it is if it's near one of the stadiums or near something that's a driving force to get those rates up.
Yeah, I mean, there's you definitely have to do your due diligence. You can there are different tools out there. One of them is called AirDNA. It's a tool you can use to figure out the nightly rate in different areas. But it's important, just do your due diligence and even go on Airbnb itself and search in an area and take a look at what the nightly rate is for properties in that area, and then go to their calendar and see how booked they are. If their calendar is wide open for the next 3 months, well, maybe there's not a whole lot of demand in that area. Yeah. But I can tell you, I know people that have Airbnbs in Katy, they have them out in Sugar Land. I mean, they're staying booked. And a lot of times when families coming in town to visit, I mean, they want to stay close to family, so they book the Airbnbs in Katy or Sugar Land or the Woodlands.
Were you live on Instagram?
I don't think I was live. I'm not sure.
It's probably because my phone rang once, and we'll figure that out.
Okay.
So apologize if people aren't seeing it, but motivation.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we really need to talk about.
Okay.
And I gave a class last Friday. Remember I called you? I was driving out what was the next? Schulenburg, okay. Schulenburg, Texas.
Yeah.
I drove out there all the way to talk to some new investors, and there's about 70 people in the room. And I hit them with some hard cold facts. I said 70%. I said about 90% of y'all will take the information y'all learned. It was a weekend thing, a retreat thing. Said 90% of y'all will take the information that you're learning this weekend and you'll walk away and not do a damn thing with it.
Right.
10% of y'all will hustle and try to find a deal. 5 of y'all will find a deal, and 1% of y'all will do multiple deals.
Yeah.
They said, no way. I was like, statistics don't lie.
Yeah.
But I ended it by saying, I want you to all prove me wrong. Prove the statistics wrong.
Well, unfortunately, motivation is overrated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I tell people the most important aspect of this business is mindset.
Yes.
I talk to my students all the time. I teach strategies and techniques for real estate investing, but I also teach mindset, because think about it. Once you learn the techniques of calculating after paired value, mm-hmm. or being able to do a rehab estimate or doing a walkthrough on a property, you're going to get good at that after doing 2, 3, 4 deals. The differentiating factor between you being that person that does, a hobby investor that does 1 deal a year, and the person that's doing multiple deals and is able to quit their job is mindset. And not only is it mindset, what's more important than motivation are habits.
Yes.
Habits are what allow you to be consistent on a daily basis. I equate real estate investing to weight loss. That's probably one of the best analogies I've heard. If you think about it, like, anytime you watch a workout video or something like that, you're motivated, right? Mm-hmm. But it's your habits that allow you to. We know motivation fluctuates up and down. Like one day you're motivated and one day you're not motivated. Mm-hmm. But habits are consistent every day, mm-hmm. right? If you make it a habit to go to the gym at 8 a.m. in the morning, before you go to work, or 6 a.m. in the morning, if it's a habit, okay, it doesn't matter if you wake up that morning not motivated. Your habit is going to carry you through, even though you're not motivated.
I love this. Yeah. I love this, because we'll talk about this for just a second, and Ehab knows this. I've lost 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Over the last since February 6th. I've lost 40 pounds. Guys, if y'all want to know how, I'm not going to talk about it at length. Y'all can contact me directly. But I've lost 40 pounds over a span of since February 6th. I looked at a photo of myself back in early January at my daughter's 1-year birthday party, and I said, enough is enough. I'm going to go get back in shape.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put myself in the right mindset. When I was in the military, you got the mindset, look, if you do not stay in shape, you're going to not have a job. That is one of the things that being in the military, you've got to stay consistent on, is being in top physical shape, because at any moment a war could break out. And if you're, I'm sorry, I'm not fat shaming anybody, but if you're fat and out of shape and not in the best shape of your that you can be, you're not ready to go and fight that war.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's the same thing in real estate. And I will preach this to the, you've got to wake up every morning, look yourself in the mirror and say, what can I do to make my life better? What can I do to change the outcome of me eventually becoming lazy and not doing what everybody's out there doing? You've got to say, I am going to have 5 rentals by the end of this year, and then go and make it a reality. You got to speak it into existence. You got to make it a reality.
Yeah.
And the right mindset, one, you got to build your team around you. You've got to make sure you contact somebody. No, contact Ehab so that he can mentor you into building your team around you. You got to have the right lender, somebody that's going to take care of you and get you through those deals with ease. That way there's no hiccups, there's no headaches. And 3, you got to have the right title company, insurance. You got to build all that stuff and build your team around you. Look, there's a lot of people that say, I'll go back to George W. Bush, okay? They say he was not really the most eloquent speaker, but he did a lot of smart things because of the team he built around him. Now, was he the greatest president of all time? No, I'm not going to say that, but I will say he did a lot of great things because at the time, because he had a lot of smart people around him. Yeah. He also did a lot of dumb things that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But you know, he had the people that made him successful.
Well, and you know, when it comes to real estate investing, the habits that you have to have, okay,
waking up.
You got to take daily action, because in this tough market, just looking at MLS once a week for, you know, an hour it's not going to do it. Okay. No. So you got to take daily action, searching MLS every day for deals, and you have to know what a deal looks like. So you got to get educated on that part. 2, you've got to make offers. You got to make lots of offers every week. You know, it's again, if you're
one of your students sends me a deal a day.
Yeah. If you're just making 1 offer a week, 1 offer every 2 weeks, it's going to take you a really long time to get that next deal. So you've got to do, you know, daily looking at MLS, driving for dollars, contacting sellers, contacting realtors, contacting wholesalers and building those relationships, making offers on properties every day, going and looking at properties, meeting anything that looks like it's going to be a good deal, meeting your contractor out there to really nail down the rehab, the repair budget, because you want to be solid on that. So I mean, you've got to be doing that daily action, getting in the habit, and you've got to schedule it in your day. If you don't have it scheduled, if you're just like, you know, when I get home from work today, I'm gonna take some time and look at MLS. No, that's not gonna do it, because you're gonna have dinner, you're gonna spend time with your family, you're gonna hang out with your kids,
totally off focus,
and you're just not gonna do it. So you gotta have it scheduled. You're gonna say, okay, my evening is gonna be come home, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna eat dinner, I'm gonna spend time with my family from 7 to 8 o'clock, put the kids to bed 8 to 9 o'clock. You know, 10 o'clock, I'm gonna spend from 10 to 11, I'm gonna be on my computer looking at deals, sending offers.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you gotta schedule it. If you're not doing those things, you're really just leaving your life to chance.
Yeah, and you have to understand, there's always somebody else out there that's hungrier than you are.
Yeah.
That's sure. You know, and I'll say this about Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Oh, The Rock.
Yeah. The Rock. Yeah. He says there's nobody in the room that's going to outwork me. When I step on the set, I'm gonna outwork everybody. When I step in the gym, I'm gonna outwork everybody in there. His mindset when he wakes up every morning is, I'm going to outwork everybody that comes in my path, because that's the only way I'm gonna be successful. That's the only way that I'm gonna be the #1 action movie star in America.
Well, you know, I tell my students, let's be real. At the end of the day, when you talk about financial freedom, when you talk about living the life that you want to live, being able to be financially free, go on vacation, not have to worry about working, you're talking about being part of the 1%ers of society,
1%.
right? And so if you equate that to, let's say, professional athletes who are the 1%ers of athletes out there in the world, think about how hard a pro NFL football player works. I mean, that guy is watching film. He's in the gym twice a day. He's training. He's trying to get faster. He's doing drills to sharpen his mind, sharpen his speed. If you equate your real estate investing to a professional athlete, then think about how much time, how much effort you have to put in to be a 1%er, right?
It's hard.
The good thing about real estate is you don't even, that's the great thing, is you don't even have to work that hard, you know? But if
you got to work smart.
If you just put a quarter of the time of what those professional athletes do, you can get the same results in real estate. You know, like just put in a solid hour, 2 hours a day, and the time that you can on the weekend, the time that you can put it on the weekends as well, put that time in, and just go after it like professional athletes go after it, as hard as you can go to try to get to that dream. And I can tell you, somebody who's been able to do it and become financially free and quit my job, it is 100% worth it.
Yeah,
it's 100% worth it.
It is. It is. And you seem a lot happier over the last year since. I mean, I can tell the difference between Ehab then and Ehab now. A lot happier. He's getting deals done. He's got mentees. He's building his wealth, building his program, and building the people around him.
Yep.
Well, guys, hey, look, that's about all the time we got.
Dang it.
Well, I mean, we could stay. I mean,
I want to go to lunch.
Yeah, me too. I want to go to lunch. Ehab, I thank you.
Right,
hopefully we can do this again. Guys, if y'all have ever got any questions, the ticker at the bottom, tell them how to contact you.
Yeah, guys, start by going to rehabwithehab.com. Download my free guide, which is how to make $25,000 a month in passive income. Just download that so you can have a good foundation. And then I have a free webinar on there too, a free mastermind class. Watch that too, just so you can get a good foundation of what it is that I teach, my strategy, and then schedule a call with me, because that's going to be important. I want to talk to you first before I let you into my mentorship program, because I want to make sure it's the right fit for you.
Okay.
You know, I really just don't let anybody in. So I want to let people in that I feel like I can work with, that are teachable, and that are going to be a right fit for the program.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing in closing that I will say about Ehab. If you're a tire kicker, he ain't got time for that. He ain't got time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
We are all about real people that want to do real business.
Yeah.
And guys, if you want to contact me, always 903-806-4400. Give me a call, or rob@jetlending.com, or jetteam1@jetlending.com. Guys, that's all the time we have. Hold up.
We got more questions.
We got one more question. It's all about the mindset. Absolutely, Mark.
The mindset, Mark.
The mindset for this week is to contact Ehab. That's your mindset, so that you can get on the right journey as well, okay?
Yeah.
Guys, that's all the time we have for this week's Trigger Points. I hope to see y'all next week. Ehab, thank you so much for coming, man. Appreciate it. All right, guys, we're out here. We're going to go to lunch. If y'all want to join us, we're probably going to Papacita somewhere.
All right,
We're going to go to Papacita.
I like that.
All right. Hey, text me, 903-806-4400. You can come have lunch with us. My treat. All right?
There you go.
Thanks, guys.